All right, hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. My name is Hansel. I'm here with Wayne. We wrote a book, which, like this podcast, is also called theCoderBros Go to White Castle. It's a book about our story, how we grew up Asian, how we became best friends, and how we found our White Castle. Only our metaphorical destination wasn't a fast food joint, but an awesome little business called the Coder School that we now run together. So we started this podcast to explore the stories of other Asian Americans just like us and how they found their own White Castle. Wayne, what do we have on tap today?
All right, on tap today, our guest today escaped Vietnam at age 2 with her family, ended up growing up in Pennsylvania, very rural, got her BS degree from Wharton School, UPenn, and from there went on to get an MBA from Harvard. So yep, words like smart and overachiever would be an understatement. And
Most definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. It's no surprise she's held many C-level positions and founded her own company. So let's welcome Nguyen.
Thanks for having me, Wayne and Hansel.
Awesome.
Hey, I looked up. It said one of your passions was football. So maybe you've heard that.
Was that a football song? What is that? How does that relate to
Are you ready
football?
for some football?
Oh, the first part of it. Okay, I didn't even recognize it because it didn't get to the football part.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry. We didn't mean
about that.
We didn't mean to take over the podcast or anything. All right. Well, welcome, Ha. Thanks for being on the show. So let's start off by why don't you tell us a bit about sort of what you do these days, and then sort of what your White Castle is, how you got to your White Castle.
Thanks. Yeah, it's such a great question. So these days, I am a fractional COO. So for those listening, what is that? So as Hansel and Wayne mentioned, I've been an executive in tech for over 2 decades now. And these days, I just work solo. I have a business partner, but we are consultants and we work with a lot of early stage founders to help them build and grow awesome businesses. And fractional is a fraction of somebody's time. So if you're an early stage founder, CEO, you want seasoned leadership in your company, but you might not be able to afford to pay somebody full time, you can actually hire them as part-time consultants or advisors.
Got it.
Yeah, how part-time is that?
Yeah.
Like, are we talking about like 5 hours? Like as a COO, I feel like that's a lot of time, right? Is that 5 hours? Is that 20, 30, 40 hours?
How fractional is it?
Yeah. It's fractional. It depends on the founder and the team and what their needs are. So I know I started with one founder that I said about 25 hours a week. So it's one of my bigger engagements. And then over time, he kept adding more and more time blocks, saying like, I need more of your time. I need more of your time. I need more of your time. But certainly we have founders that we support that's 5 hours a week or 10 hours, 10 to 15 hours, I think is a typical good arrangement.
Yeah.
I mean, how does the billing work? Do you bill, like per hour, or is it like a package deal kind of thing?
Yeah, we only bill on retainer. It's a good question. So I've never believed in hourly billing because I always feel like it's warped incentives, right? Like,
It gets uncomfortable, right? Like, say you're in a conference call and they're like, shoot, should I hang up? Like, I just asked a question.
That's right. Because I do think that like
because I'm paying you so much, it's probably expensive. So
yeah. I think that founders like, well, if you charge hourly, they'll start doing the mental calculation of like, do I need to bring Ha into this call?
Right. Exactly. Right.
Whereas if it's retainer, they can budget it ahead of time. Okay, this every month, this is what it's going to cost to hire Ha or to hire Garrett. And I'll just hold them in as much as I can until they tell me that, that it's maybe overscoped at this point or too many hours. But I do find that founders really like the fact that they just pull us out in whenever they need and they don't really have to think about like.
Do you think that's part of your sort of personality? Because it takes a different, because if they don't pull you in 100%, you're not thinking about that company 100%, right? You're thinking about your various different companies that you're COO as, your fractions, right? So is that part of your personality to juggle many things at once? Is that kind of why this is presumably part of your White Castle?
Well, it's a good question. I hadn't thought about that, but I feel like I have self-diagnosed ADHD. So,
That's perfect
Wayne
for the fractional job then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Wayne and Hansel, I think, before the recording started, we talked about my many facets of my different careers. Yeah. So from product leadership to venture capital to actually being a full-time COO at a marketplace company to now startup consulting. I think those evolutions was just because I never wanted to get too bored just doing one thing over and over again. So every time I felt like I hit like the top or the pinnacle, like I was like, okay, how do I reinvent myself? So fractional
And you keep
consulting.
hitting the top
Uh,
and the pinnacle, even with your colleges.
no,
I
now
mean,
I'm
I
like,
think you
You
I
just
got a
keep
lot of
doing that.
tops.
You do
yeah,
it too
yeah.
often. People like me, I don't hit the pinnacle, so I'm just kind of still waiting, you know.
Yeah,
But that's cool though. That's
yeah,
what life is about is
yeah,
you keep challenging
yeah.
yourself, right? And I
And oh, one more
yeah.
thing is now I've moved away from talking about myself as a fractional COO, and I have been talking more and more about building a portfolio career. So what is that?
Hmm.
So that means that I'm pursuing multiple passions and multiple passion projects at once, and trying to figure out how to generate income from each of those passions. So
Awesome.
it's not one thing that defines me. So of
Oh,
course I have
wow.
consulting. But then I just finished a executive search with my friend Deb Liu, who you should have on this podcast,
Oh,
who's the former
Well,
CEO
good
at
recommendation. There you
Ancestry.
go.
Yep. And she and I decided that during her year off, before she takes her next CEO stint, that we would experiment with some exec searches. So we just
wow.
completed that. I'm working on a Maven course with my business partner, hoping to sort of scale coaching and advice. And so there's just a bunch of experiments that I've been running to
See, no
figure
wonder Harvard let you in. Passion projects. I know all about like
out.
kids trying to get into college. They need passion projects, and here you have like 15 of them. So,
Yeah.
that's
That's awesome.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
so wow, so that does sound like a ADHD of sorts. You're
Yeah. Yeah.
running all
It's
kinds of
like,
awesome stuff. So, but it's all business oriented. What about so outside of business? What about sort of personal stuff? Do you also
Yeah.
line up a bunch of stuff to do as well?
So I have a few interests. So I don't know if you saw, I am a poker player.
I saw that. So actually on my intro, it was going to be a poker kind of sound or a football. That was the thing. But poker really just has like chips falling, and it was kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
Well,
wasn't as cool as the NFL.
so I've been playing for at least 25 years.
Wow.
Um,
Whoa.
for a
So
period
how
of
good are
time.
you? Could you actually like win at
Pretty
a
good.
tournament?
So if you
Yeah?
go to my poker website right now, it's
Oh,
pokergirl.co.
you have your own
See
poker
that
website.
yes, you'll see
Whoa.
that the homepage image is me at a final table of a WPT World Poker Tour.
Holy
Tournament.
cow, final table.
Mhm.
So at a final table, does that mean you're guaranteed winnings, or how does that work?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Because
No,
this
so
is
you
out
would
of
normally tournaments pay out like the top 10%.
Yeah.
okay.
And in that table, I was playing with Daniel Negreanu. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah, I know him. I used to
Yeah, hit
watch.
poker.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, he's like a
Wow.
celebrity. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
big
he's a
time.
celebrity. Yeah, there were a couple of
Phil
professional
and
players at that
Daniel
table.
Negreanu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seems like a, yeah, that's
But
crazy.
that was before.
He's at your table. You're playing with him.
Yep.
The
And
final
then
table,
yeah, if you
right?
dig deeper into
I'd
the
be
website, you'll see
so
a picture of me
intimidated. I would just,
and Daniel.
that's
Um, yeah,
crazy.
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. But are you still doing it? Are you still playing poker?
Now only casually. Now I
Okay.
go like 4 or 5 times a year, and I'll play in Vegas. But I used to play maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Before I had kids, I would play 3 to 5 times a week here in the Bay Area because there's 24/7 card rooms. And then I
Wow.
would play on, and those were mostly cash games, but then I would play the occasional tournament.
Wow.
But
Where do you
these
find the time?
days,
This is like in between all the startups and the
yeah,
eBay and
yeah,
all of
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Well, it was
that's
before kids. It was before kids. And
Okay.
then these days, I just find that like the game is a grind. It is hard
Hmm.
to beat. Like, it was easy to beat the game for a while because all of these what we call fish, right? Like would enter the game when poker
Oh,
exploded on TV. They didn't know what
yeah.
oh,
they were doing. It was actually
yeah.
quite easy to win. But these
Oh.
days, the game has evolved, and unless you play it all the time and evolve with the game, I do find it harder to beat these days. And
Interesting.
That's
So the
interesting.
level
all
has
the
just
fish as
gotten
well.
that much better. I do
The
remember
level has
when it got
gotten
so
higher.
big. Yeah, I mean, I was watching it on TV and it was
Yeah,
I never got myself into it. Thank God. I would have just lost all my money to you. But I can imagine that there was a lot of novices, right? Kind of just having
that's right.
fun with
Yeah,
it and you
yeah,
could just
yeah.
easily and now
Yeah,
it's
victim of its
probably
own popularity, I guess. Wow. So
yeah.
what is like the biggest amount that you have won at a tournament? And what was the buy-in for it?
Um, it was in the tens of thousands, but
Oh man. So you could have that could have been your thing. That could have been like one of your other businesses.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Outside of that, I know we talked a little bit about football, so I'm a huge college football
College
fan.
football.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So college football. So I know one of your kids go to USC, so you must be a
Like,
USC fan, I'm assuming.
yeah,
Dartmouth,
of
I don't
course.
even
So
think, do they even
Trojans.
have a team? Your other kid goes to Dartmouth, but they don't have a team, right?
I think they're
Yeah.
Division
I
three.
mean,
They do have a team that and it plays the other Ivies.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I
your
guess you,
alma
wow.
maters, I mean, UPenn, Harvard, that's
Yeah,
not
not so
big
good.
time
Yeah.
football.
Well, UPenn was all, also Division three. And
Right.
when I went to school, I think the reason why I got so into football was when I was in school, we had three undefeated seasons, but of course we were playing other Ivies, right? So
Mm.
Yeah.
you'd
So you're
get
beating
crushed by a
other,
Michigan or a
low
Penn
Division
State or
three.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is Penn where they did the thing with the toast? They throw the
Yeah,
toast onto the
exactly. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
My
like,
brother went there actually. He's telling me
oh,
about
that's
that,
so
and I
fun.
was
Yeah. So,
yeah.
so one of their traditions is singing a song and it goes, here's a toast to dear
Oh,
Ben, and then
oh,
go toast onto the field. Um,
oh, okay.
it
Wow.
was a fun tradition.
So then what's the college team that you're following now?
Well, for the longest time, so I moved out to the Bay Area in 2000, and I was following Stanford, during its heyday when
Maybe
there
like
were
when
Andrew Luck
Harbaugh was
days.
there.
Harbaugh and Andrew
Andrew
Luck
Luck,
and
yeah.
Andrew Luck.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then Christian McCaffrey was
Oh,
there, and
right. Yep.
so those were fun years to watch Stanford football. And then there were many, many, many,
Absolutely.
many years of painful Stanford football. And so now I'm
Still
like
currently.
can root for a different team, which is USC because my son is a sophomore there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you
USC
that
is
they haven't
great.
been doing as well as expectations. So
That's true. Last
yeah,
few years, they had high expectations
yeah,
and let
right,
everybody down.
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow. Well, that's cool. Does your family also watch football?
NFL, I think my dad, he lives in the
Oh,
DC area and
but
would he
you're
watches
kind
the
of a
team formerly known as the Redskins.
Oh, really? Okay, I got you.
Formerly known as the Redskins.
Yeah.
I still know them as Redskins. I'll screw that up
I don't
all the
even, oh, is
time.
it Commanders now? Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
Commanders,
follow
yeah.
Commanders.
NFL as much.
And their
Yeah.
Yeah,
baseball team, yeah, I don't know. Oh, or
yeah.
Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland
See,
Browns.
I can't even, what are them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Browns.
you don't usually get the mom of the family watching football kind
I
of on it sounds
know.
like on your own.
Yeah,
Like
it's so
your
crazy.
husband's not as into it
No, my
and your kid.
husband, no,
That's
he's a
funny.
soccer fan, so
Oh,
he
soccer. All
follows
right.
MLS and his
Yeah,
team is
yeah.
MLS.
the Earthquakes. So
Okay. So let's move the discussion to so when you were growing up. So as Wayne mentioned, so you came over from Vietnam. So tell us a bit about whether you have any memories of that, or if there's any stories maybe your mom told of coming over because that was a
yeah,
pretty big
yeah, of
crisis time.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
So we came over the week that Saigon fell to the communists. In fact, actually,
Mm.
we had a few pit stops along the way. So we fled Vietnam when my dad was in the South Vietnamese army and had got clued in that the communists were going to take over the city, and so he was able to get like my immediate family out. My mother was the oldest of nine brothers and sisters, and
Nine.
she left. Yes, nine
Nine.
brothers and sisters.
How's that
Her
possible?
parents stayed behind. All of her brothers and
Ooh.
sisters fell behind. My mom actually thought that she was just going on a 2 week vacation, right? We did not know that this was a permanent leave the country,
Yeah. This
because
is
at that
wow.
time, like you just didn't know. And we were flown to a camp in the Philippines
So you guys got out by plane?
by
You were actually,
plane
oh,
because
really?
it was the
Okay.
week that Saigon had
That's
fallen
unusual,
to the
isn't it?
communists, but
Yeah.
before it fell. And so
Was
the
it just, it must have
Americans
been
were,
crazy busy, like planes, like if
yeah,
it's
I'm sure. No,
everybody leaving
yeah,
at the same
for
time?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, yeah, I mean, people were trying to flee the country and we were
Mm,
get out because the
Yeah.
Americans were,
Oh, you're
um,
really lucky to get on board.
they were evacuating like high-ranking South Vietnamese military officials
Okay.
and their
oh,
families.
wow.
And
Mm,
so we ended up in the Philippines for I think a few months, and then ended up in a refugee camp in Arkansas for a few months. And then we were
Arkansas.
waiting for a sponsor who would take my family in. And so I believe that my sponsor um, saw in like some Catholic like newspaper the call for helping refugee families. So sponsored us. We ended up living with him in
Mm,
DC for a few months. He helped my dad get a job in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is a very small town in Maryland. My mom, who didn't have any English or didn't know any English and didn't have any skills really, because she never went to I don't think she graduated high
Sure.
school and she never went to college. So
Yeah.
she ended up being a seamstress in
Hmm.
Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, 30 minutes away from where my dad was working.
Wait,
So
so
I
you were in the
well,
Arkansas refugee camp, and somehow this dude found you from Maryland slash Pennsylvania? Like how?
so this dude lived in DC, but like, so
Okay.
there was the Catholic newspaper sort of had a call out, right? Like
Oh, and it.
American families to go and
Okay.
sponsor a
Wow.
refugee Vietnamese family. And
Yeah.
so we ended up in DC for a few months, uh,
Okay.
living in the home of our sponsor family. And then
Wow.
sponsor helped my dad find a job. And then my mom found a job as a seamstress.
And then you were super young at the time, right?
I was,
Two, three,
oh,
four.
yeah, I was two. And my
Like a baby,
my
pretty
middle
much.
sister was maybe 6 months old, and then
Wow.
my youngest had not
Well,
yet
I
been.
guess there was,
Yeah,
yeah. How
Not yet been
many?
born. Wow.
Yeah. So how many siblings do you
two
have?
younger sisters.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
three total. Wow. So do you still keep in touch with the sponsor guy? Does
Yeah,
your
but he
parents?
went to my
Yeah.
wedding,
Oh,
and
wow.
during like the Christmas uh like holiday tradition where we have like family and friends, over and there's like 60, 70 people in the house. They
Mm.
usually get stop by. And yeah, I mean, I hope if they're listening that they're proud that like, they gave a family that they did not know the chance to live the American dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Actually, I have thought myself of doing something like that, fostering kids where
Mm.
maybe from refugees or whatever, because look at how you turned out,
Yeah,
and I'm sure he
exactly.
was a huge part of allowing you to be able to do that.
Yeah, I
That's
think
pretty
about that
amazing.
often. As I mentioned to you, prior to the recording, I've been back to Vietnam 4 times. But I always
Mm.
think, especially when I'm back, I'm like, gosh, what would my life have been like had
Yeah.
we
If you
stayed, right?
never
It would
left.
have been
Yeah.
a lot different. I don't think I would have necessarily been in tech, had I just
Right.
left. So
Yeah,
yeah,
perhaps,
um,
And
perhaps.
maybe not
Wow.
gone to the
so.
universities that you went to and things like
Yeah.
that,
And
you
that was
know?
that was interesting because I think one of your questions earlier was like, are you a product of being raised by tiger parents?
Tiger parents, right.
And my parents were the opposite of tiger parents because we were poor growing up, and because my mom was not college educated, and like there was
Hmm.
just never really this idea of like, okay, you're gonna have to like study and get straight
Study
A's,
for your
go to the best
SAT. I mean, she
colleges,
probably
and
wasn't familiar with like the
they weren't familiar.
SATs
No, of course
and the
not.
whole
No.
system.
No, I had
Right.
written actually a blog post about this, which was that like, I was comparing and contrasting my oldest experience when he wanted to go to a private high school. And, I got him ISEE prep, which is the equivalent of SAT prep for
Mm.
those applying to private high schools.
Hmm.
And then he had mentors and role
So
models
you are a
to
tiger
look
mom.
into.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
are.
No, no, he was asking me. He was asking me. I was
Okay.
planning on
Wow.
sending him to public school, but then he told me that
Okay.
he wanted to go to private high school. And of course, like, thankfully, we have the resources now where I could get him
Mm.
help, right?
Yeah.
But growing, and I compared it in this blog post that I wrote of like my high school and childhood up
Guidance.
there.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know anything about SAT tutoring. And even if I did know about SAT tutoring, we wouldn't have been able to afford it anyways.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that, like, I had literally no role models or mentors to like show me the path. So I just
So
sort of had to figure it out.
how do you think it all came about? You're obviously a very successful, motivated person now. It sounds like, even though your parents didn't have that tiger in them and they were just kind
Yeah.
of, hey, Ha, go ahead and do
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you want.
yeah, yeah.
Did you have that like when you're like you ended up going to UPenn undergrad and then you ended up going to Harvard after
hmm
that, right?
hmm
So how did you get the motivation to do it?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question. I don't know if I know how to answer that. I would say
Yeah.
that I'm still trying to figure it out for my kids, right? Because I do
Right, right.
really
Get them
believe
motivated.
I do really believe that that you have to have like self-motivation. Like it can't be taught,
100%.
right? And you can't if your parents try to force certain things on you, I think that the more likely scenario will be to rebel, right?
Yeah.
So how do you teach your kids like grit and resilience and
Yep.
perseverance and things and motivation,
And
right?
desire for the
No,
Ivy Leagues.
I don't know. Well, but it's interesting because
Crazy.
I went this path. And my two younger sisters, they want to work 9 to 5, and just have like easy,
I,
cushy
I was
lives.
going to say that could answer
So
the
Yeah.
nature nurture question. So you're so you're in this environment where your parents aren't tigering you guys, but you did really well. What do your parents or what did your siblings do? What do your younger
Yeah,
siblings do?
my middle sister, she did go to Penn, and then
Mm,
she studied public health. 'Cause she wasn't able to get into med school, so then she studied public health, and now she works for the government. And
okay,
literally, I think she just wants to work 9 to 5. And then my
okay.
youngest is a graphics freelancer. Um, didn't get into Penn, went to Maryland, and loves to also work 9 to 5. And she has
Okay.
a side hustle business, selling macarons actually, but
Okay.
but
ah,
yeah, in terms of like the ambition, I definitely think I was the most ambitious of the three kids.
Yeah.
And my path, I think I didn't even know, like outside of like knowing Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, right? Like I did not know any of the other Ivies, and I had never heard of
right,
Stanford.
right.
Like I'd never,
Right. Right.
so the reason I ended up at Penn was I think um a, a, a maybe a guidance counselor it sort of saw
Well,
my
you grew up, you
potential.
were in Pennsylvania at least, so then
Small
maybe they
world.
were like, here, this is the best
Well,
school
no,
in
no,
our
no. So what
state.
had happened was, so I grew up in a town of 25,000 people. There was one high school in a 25-mile radius. There was 600 people in my class, at least my starting high school class,
Hmm.
and then about a third drop out, like
Wow.
over
Whoa,
time. So yeah, it was not a great high school. But I think
right.
the guidance counselor saw the potential in me and basically encouraged me to apply to something called the Governor's School program. And the Governor's School program allowed you to study with whatever subject of your interest or your choice at the relevant school for the summer. So if it was business, you went to Wharton for the summer. If it was computer science, you went to Carnegie Mellon. If it was
Mm.
agriculture, you went to Cornell. So I
Oh,
was
there you
like,
go.
okay, I'm not into agriculture. And at the time, I was not that interested in computer science. So I was like, okay, business sounds good. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds good. So I
Yeah.
went to Penn for the summer, and that was how I first discovered Penn. And I'm like, oh,
Mm,
I love this school.
yeah.
Let me apply. I applied to Penn, Princeton, and Penn State. And I got turned down by Princeton. I got into Penn State and Penn. I wanted to go
Okay.
to Penn, and my parents were like, absolutely not. We can't afford it.
Yeah, the
There's
Mm.
no
tuition.
way. And then I remember being so upset and bawling and everything. And then I don't know how this happened, but I remember just telling my dad that we had to go and visit Penn. So we did the 4-hour drive to lobby to the financial aid committee that we
Ooh.
needed the money.
Oh,
And
wow.
they
And that
gave
worked?
me almost the full scholarship rise.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Congrats on
Yeah.
that.
But it
amazing.
was all like financial based and they always give you something. And what I learned is that like, and then maybe this was my first lesson is that like you don't get what you don't ask for, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you had to
just
drive
by
there 4 hours and show up in person and
yeah,
just ask,
exactly.
right?
And
And
there you
then,
go. And that was how I ended up at Penn and not Penn State.
Wow. Coming from that kind of high
nice.
school where a third of the people drop out, and you said it was like almost like an Amish town.
That's
I
right.
mean
Yeah.
that kind of background and then ending up at Penn and then getting a full ride or almost full ride is pretty amazing. I guess back then because nowadays I think if you make under what is it like 150 or something, you automatically get a full ride or something like that at schools these days. I don't
Yeah.
think it was like that back then.
Yeah, I don't know what it was like, but my parents had and certainly they were not making that much money. I think the reason why the first package wasn't great was because my parents, like any good, immigrant family, like they saved up all of their money and they started investing in real estate. And
Oh,
so growing up,
wow.
like they would
So
never
smart.
allow me the privilege or the luxury of having an ice cream cone because we couldn't afford it.
Oh,
But then
man.
they put aside any money that they had to like invest in real estate, and then
Oh,
any
so smart though.
income that it threw off, they would just then pay down the mortgages faster.
Wow.
Yeah,
Smart.
and
Very
so yeah,
Asian.
yeah,
Wow,
Very
smart
very
Asian.
Asian
Asian, very
and
Asian.
so money's financial advice.
Yeah,
Like that is
yeah,
exactly how
Yeah.
you want to do it.
So
yeah,
speaking of that Asian side, I mean, how much of the Asian side has gotten to you? Because
yeah.
you've pretty much been in America
Yeah, yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time.
Well, I'll say that the one thing that I'm still letting go of, but I'm much better than I was even 10, 15 years ago, is watching every penny. So like so my mom to this day still like, I mean if I take her to Whole Foods, like she'll go to the checkout line with just one head of lettuce. It'll ring up as $3 and some cents. And she was like, forget it. I'm going to go to Chinatown and buy it for 50
Go to
cents.
Yeah, yeah,
Chinatown.
that's
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna drive
Yeah.
across town
So,
and get this for
and
99
so
cents.
Yeah.
I've always had a little bit of that, like craziness with money, where
Yeah.
like my husband, who I've been together with since 1996, he'll say like, gosh, you don't often bring up anymore like what the discount was that you you
Oh,
paid for
okay.
a certain
Yeah.
like piece of item. Because it used to always be, I would always like shop the bargain racks, like
Yeah.
90% off, like it had to be
Yeah.
90% off. And then I would brag about it to my husband, honey, how much how much percentage do you think I got this,
Yeah.
this
But not anymore though, huh? That's kind of gone away
Still
as
a little
well.
yes,
saving.
I've gotten a little bit less crazy, but my mom is still kind of crazy with money. So,
And do you allow yourself to eat some ice cream now and then?
oh yeah, I indulge
Oh,
in everything.
yeah.
I mean, and the good stuff too, salt and straw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Salt and
sounds
straw.
strong.
That is
Right
the good
on.
stuff. There
Exactly.
you go.
Yeah, not the safe way, like
Definitely coming. Yeah, not the
like
same
Not the
dryers or
cheap
something.
stuff.
Yeah. Signature brand actually would be
So your
Selfless.
husband is Jewish, and so mixed race family. So how do you raise your kids? Any
yeah,
Asian influence? Yeah.
yeah. Well, my kids, all three of my kids, their favorite food is pho.
Okay.
Um,
Ah, nice.
they've definitely grown
Classic.
up with
That
all of
is the
the Vietnamese
classic
cuisines.
Vietnamese. Yeah.
So,
Classic,
so you
classic.
guys took them to Vietnamese cuisine? Is that why, or why is pho their
Yeah,
favorite?
and then also visiting my family, I mean, we would always have like these Vietnamese
Gotcha.
potlucks, where everybody would bring a dish, and so they've tried all sorts of,
Well, I have tried.
Wait,
I love pho myself.
Wade and I were
Yeah.
talking about that, and we were like, in Vietnam, it's like pho, and then what else is there?
Well, the
So it's
banh mi,
like
I guess. The
in the
banh
banh
mi.
mi.
well,
So it's
like
like the
I
potluck
love
is
like
all pho.
so I you can only
Yummy.
get this in San Jose, but I love hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Bun bop lop. Do you know what that is? That's the tapioca, like
Hmm.
the sticky, there's like pork and shrimp
Oh
inside.
yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
Is it
yeah.
anyways, but
roll?
you can only get it in San Jose. There's certain things that you can only really get in San Jose.
Right. San Jose has a lot of
Yeah,
Vietnamese restaurants.
for sure.
They're
Yeah.
really good.
I actually, when I was in Hong Kong, we used to always eat so in Cantonese they call it yol. And I don't know what it is in Vietnamese, but it's like a ham. It's like kind of like grayish beige color. And
Mm.
it's just like squished pork. Have you ever seen that? It's usually wrapped in banana leaf. Does that
Oh,
ring any bells at all?
yeah. Yeah. And
You-
it's kind of similar to like the bun bup blup that I was talking
Is
about.
it? Is it?
Sometimes,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
made of like tapioca flour, and sometimes it's wrapped in banana leaves.
Mm.
But like the version that I like is super chewy. Like, there's tapioca
Mm.
starch or something.
It's so
Yeah.
funny how little
Nice.
like Wayne and I know about Vietnamese culture. Like we're all Asian, we're Chinese, but like we just know so little about. We just
I
know
mean,
the
it's,
top level stuff. Just
yeah.
pho, banh
Yeah,
mi.
pho, banh mi's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see why your daughters would pick maybe pho over. I mean, like I've
Tons.
had matzo ball soup, so and I
Oh
think
yeah.
pho
Yeah.
is like
Beef
head and
with
shoulders
chicken.
above that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I would say that my kids, I do identify as Vietnamese, Vietnamese
Hmm.
and Jewish.
Okay.
I know that they always ask, like they've been back to Vietnam a couple times, but they want to go back.
Okay.
So it's like their favorite place to visit. They want to go back.
Do you
nice.
guys like celebrate the New Year and all that sort of culture stuff?
It, we celebrate a lot more when we go home to visit my family, who is still
Mm.
on the
Okay.
East Coast.
Okay.
Um, but I'm in San Mateo, and I mean, there's like really no Vietnamese here, so you have to go up to like San
San Jose.
Francisco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So,
Yeah, yeah. And so you say they like if you were to ask one of your kids like what ethnicity are you, would they say
oh yeah, for
Vietnamese or
sure.
would they say a mix of a bunch of stuff?
I mean, they would either say mixed or Vietnamese. But
Yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely would
Okay.
identify.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something else I was going to ask you. I saw in one of your, I think it was one of your Substacks somewhere that you used to be an introvert. Is that
I
true?
still am.
You still are
Really?
you?
You
That's
don't come
interesting.
across like an introvert at all. You're
That,
so
that's
talkative
that's
and
I,
my Harvard Business School training. But no, I mean, it's true. And because on Friday night, all I want to do is turn on the TV, all weekend long and fold laundry and talk to nobody else.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah,
So like you have this thing where you have a switch to turn it on if
yeah,
when you need it in
exactly.
business, but then
Yeah.
it burns your energy, would you say? And then you kind of want to chill?
So I'm talking to people all day long and it's all work related. So when
Yeah.
it's time for me, I want to talk to nobody. So you could tell that like and sometimes my husband doesn't always believe that I'm introverted, but you could tell, right? It's like he's constantly always like in the on the drive up to the city or anywhere. He's always wanting to talk to somebody on the phone and he's
Okay.
like
So
and
that's a
so
true
he'll be like,
extrovert.
"Let's call
Right.
up your mom, let's call up your dad, let's call up
Right.
your
And you're
sisters,
like, no,
and I'm like,
You're
yeah,
like,
no,
shut
I'm good.
up.
And then like he'll start having conversations with my family, and I'm like pretending that I'm not even there in the background, you know?
so he is an extrovert then.
Yeah,
So
he's an
he just
extrovert.
like that's what
Yeah.
makes him feel comfortable.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
it's kind of where you draw your energy. It's not how much you talk necessarily. It's where you draw your energy.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think a lot of
when
people kind of mix that up, right? A lot
yeah,
of people think
yeah.
if you're talkative, you're probably not an
Yeah,
introvert, but
yeah.
it's
On
not necessarily the
Saturday, I
case.
was in Seattle. I'm like, I want to talk to nobody. I'm booking a food tour by myself. I'm gonna,
Right.
yeah, and
Nice,
yeah,
nice. Yeah, it is interesting. I feel like a lot of Asians tend to be introvert. Like I think Wayne and I, most of our friends are introverts. We were
yeah.
trying to actually figure out whether we had an extrovert friend that's Asian.
Yeah. And then the few that we guessed were not. They just
Oh,
turn it
interesting.
on, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. For
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
the Asians that are talkative are just faking it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, right?
Fake it
So
till you make
Yeah,
it,
that's funny.
turn it
So
on.
so so then let's kind of wrap up this version with talking about this part of this podcast by talking about the back to the White Castle. So would you say your White Castle is this ADHD style run a bunch of different
mm,
businesses, or what is your White
yeah.
Castle, and how did you
Yeah, so
realize that
I
was
would
it?
say and truly I mean this. Like, I mean, I've gotten to the point in my career where I feel like I don't really have anything more that I need to prove to
Yeah,
myself or to anybody. And
good
so
for you.
what is life right now? Like life is about leaving a legacy and also to just surround yourself with like mission-driven and values-aligned people. So I had shared with you, I think earlier, that I had an experience where I had worked with two narcissistic founders, in a past life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm at this point in my career. It's like, if I see that, I have to cut it off. Like, there's no
Yeah.
reason why any of us have to like choose to work with toxic leaders, toxic environments. And now, and I say it all the time, I say it on my LinkedIn post, on my website, that like I will only work with mission-driven and values-aligned founders, like, and I choose who to work with, right? And so,
Does
and
that mean they're
that's
not a jerk? Does that mean they're
right.
not
It's like, yeah, no
egotistical?
jerks allowed.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's a
Yeah.
very powerful, like, I mean, sort of like stepping into your power. It's a very powerful, like, mindset shift when you can make it where it's like, okay, I have to like just be at this job because I need to put food on the table and I got,
Right.
just
No,
have to like
exactly.
suck
Yeah.
it
I
up and deal with it.
experienced that total crazy CEO, that narcissist and everything. But I mean,
Is that
it
me?
was a good job still. But I would witness things and I would hear things like, those kind of CEOs, the rumor mill comes around and it's like, women saying he hit on them, like just crazy
Oh, yeah.
stories. And I
Yeah.
would be like, this is crazy, right? But I mean, it was still a good job. I didn't just quit immediately. But I think the power that you just said to be able to just, choose,
Yeah.
a much
I mean,
more
That's
I
a good
aligned.
think
point.
I think you have to have enough confidence. It's like, look, there is something better for me. Like on the other
Yeah,
side, stepping into the unknown can be very scary, right? Like it is
absolutely.
scary.
Especially if you
But
have a
but
mortgage and stuff,
all of that, right? And then so maybe it's difficult to leave if you don't have like a little bit of a nest egg or cushion
Right.
to lean on, but you have to like, again, step into your power and know like, look, I'm deserving of so much better,
Mhm.
and I need to find that place that's gonna treat me well, be good for my mental health, like really, like bring me joy in the work and the people that I surround myself with. So I feel like I am at that place now. Like, so I love my business partner. He's amazing, mission driven, values aligned, and I love working with him. My husband is incredibly like, I mean, there's something in Jewish tradition called mensch, if you've ever heard of it, but it's like, I mean, basically, he treats like he puts his women slash me and his mom, his sisters,
Right.
on a pedestal, right? And
Mm.
treats everyone with like
That's
Is
great.
that what mensch
kindness
means?
and
I've heard the word.
Uh,
I did.
mensch,
yeah.
mensch, yeah. It's like
Okay.
it's just like a wise, like good human being.
Oh, right on.
And so
Okay.
there's like, and then all the founders I support are like mission driven, values aligned.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. I think that's a great answer to the question of your White Castle because it's actually not a thing that you're doing. It's not specifically that you're, doing the part-time CEO, COO and all that stuff. It's more the ability to choose to do what you want. You can
Mm.
say see you later to the jerk CEOs and do the things that you want. Where like Wayne was talking about his old company, he's like, well, I can't really quit because I got this, back
Yeah, I
then
had
he
like
he didn't have his White Castle yet, right?
yeah, exactly. It was
Yeah.
not my White Castle, but it was a job and a decent title. All the things when you're younger,
Yeah.
you're just going for the title and some
Yeah.
And you got
salary.
to make your
Yeah.
money, right? Right. And when you get to a certain point where you can make choices and not have to think about that as much, then I guess that's when we all hit a version of our White Castle.
That's
So
right.
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, that's a great way to segue into our next part of the podcast. Wayne,
All right.
let's hit that sound effect, the offensive
Love it.
sound effect that
Yeah.
we get. All
The
right. So
Asian gong from
we're gonna
ancient.
So
go
funny.
into our Haru quiz. How
Okay, this
Asian
one
are
this one
you?
makes me nervous, but
Yes, because you
Yeah.
are
go
perhaps
for
not
it.
that
You were
Asian.
telling me earlier, you were like, I'm gonna fail that thing.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
told you
fail
I
it, but
already
it's okay.
failed, so
It's okay.
there's no worries.
Yeah, let's yeah,
Let's lean into
feel
the
confident.
suck.
Lean into the suck. All right, let's maybe we'll learn some stuff as well. These questions are a little bit aimed towards the Vietnamese culture, which I don't know as well, so
Okay,
I
yeah,
even
Yeah,
yeah.
edit
exactly. They're
everything.
All
probably
right,
wrong.
let's see if I
You're totally
pass.
wrong. Yeah,
Okay,
you
See if
tell
I
me when
pass.
I'm wrong. All right, the first one I'll start with a super easy with some bonus questions. What is the name of the red spicy garlic sauce with the bright green cap that you find at restaurants?
Oh, sriracha? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. There we go. Pretty
Wait, is
All
that
easy.
right.
Vietnamese? Is that
Yeah.
Vietnamese? I guess
Is
so.
that
It is
Vietnamese?
it is
Honestly.
there
No, it
so
might be Vietnamese.
there's
I
a
think it
bunch
might
of
be.
different backstories, but like the guy who ran it actually is Vietnamese and it may have come from Thailand, but it was a Vietnamese
Okay.
guy who
Yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
brought it over. But I was going to ask, do you happen to know who that is? Have you read much about the sriracha sauce guy?
Wasn't it that like he's kicking himself because there wasn't a patent on it, and so everybody started copying him?
I
Something
didn't
like
read
that?
about that, but I guess that is the case
That
because
sounds
there is a
right,
lot of
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
stuff out
so many
there.
copies.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But the
yes, the
original
guys,
still is the best.
the original is the
I
best. Yeah.
agree.
Do you actually use it? Do you actually put it
Of
on your
course,
stuff?
every day. Like, no, I eat it
Oh.
with everything, everything.
See,
Yeah.
I always wondered if it was like a Americanized version of the sauce, or if Vietnamese people actually use it.
No, they
I
use
don't
it
know.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So the guy's name is David Tran, I guess, and he became a billionaire
Oh,
from coming up with his
nice.
random sauce. So
Sriracha the billionaire.
pretty
There you
crazy.
go.
All right. So second question is actually there is no right answer. So it is top of your mind. You have like 1 second to answer this.
It's
Okay. So
just top
whatever
of
you come
mind.
up with first. Who is the most famous Vietnamese American you can think of?
Oh my gosh.
I know that's what I was like.
You're like, wait a
No,
minute.
this is a great question. I don't know. I have to pass. Because
Ah. Wait, can you think of
what
one?
about you?
I'm thinking of the guy from 21 Jump Street,
I
like Dustin
Nguyen.
Oh,
Nguyen.
Dustin
But
Nguyen.
I
Oh my gosh,
mean,
a long time ago.
I
I
don't
used to always
know.
get,
Like,
but
he
this is
doesn't
how
seem that
backwards my,
famous, so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
Well, I always got the question growing up. It's like, oh, are you related to Justin
Dustin
Nguyen? Because,
Nguyen, and you're
yeah,
like,
I was like,
you're
yeah,
like,
There's
because
a
that's
only
my
like
billion
30
Nguyen.
some
brother.
percent of
Yeah,
Vietnamese have that last name. But it is a good
yeah.
question.
But that is weird. There really aren't that many famous Vietnamese. I
Famous ones.
mean,
Huh, interesting.
business
I don't
guys
know
or
why.
like
21 Jump
politics.
Street, Dustin Nguyen just popped
That's
into
way
Or
my
to
even
I
head.
think about
totally.
like tech entrepreneurs. Who's like, a famous Vietnamese tech
Yeah.
entrepreneur?
I
Not
can't
sure.
even
Well, you are, I guess,
yeah.
I'm
It's
the
You-
gonna be
most
hot
famous.
win. That's
Yeah,
what
I
it comes
mean,
up.
God.
the sister of Dustin,
Well, I'm gonna have to think
hot.
about this one. That you threw me a curveball question, and I'm embarrassed
Yeah.
that
That's
not
yeah.
enough names come up on the list.
Yeah, that's not a great
I mean,
thing.
there's I believe his last name is Ben Tran.
Hmm.
He was a tech founder. I think he co-founded what was that reputation like score from 15, 20 years ago? It was like your
Hmm.
clout score, or clout, Klout. And
Oh,
Oh,
he
clout.
had an exit, and then he went and then he might have worked for like 500 startups or something for a period of time. But anyways, he's back in Vietnam
wow.
now, investing
Wow.
in Vietnamese tech entrepreneurs, like
Wow. Okay.
in
I
Well,
Vietnam.
hadn't
that's
heard of that
good.
guy.
Yeah.
But there you
So there
go.
you go.
Vin Tran. There's your most famous
Vin
Vietnamese
Tran.
American.
There you go. At
Vin
least
Tran.
one I know off the top of my head.
All right. So the last one actually is probably the most famous Vietnamese American after I looked it up. So Ke Huy Quan, the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know
Oh,
that
Oh,
that
guy?
he's
guy.
Vietnamese.
He's
The guy with
Vietnamese, yeah.
Michelle
The guy
Yeoh.
that plays
Yeah.
the husband in
Oh,
that show with Michelle
okay.
Everything,
Yeoh.
everywhere. Or-
Yeah, I didn't know he was Vietnamese either. I didn't know how to pronounce his name either. And then I
Yeah, I thought
looked
he
it
was
up.
Chinese.
Ke Huy Quan. So he's Vietnamese.
Oh, you
Um,
know who wait, okay, sorry to interrupt
yeah.
you. But the female comedian is half Vietnamese. The
Who, which one?
uh the one who like in the Netflix she's like the she's in all those movies.
Ali Wong? I mean,
Ali Wong is
She's
half
half
nice.
Vietnamese? Oh,
yeah,
There you
really?
go. She's pretty
she's
That's a
half
good
big.
call
Vietnamese.
out.
She talks about it. All of her comedy skits
Okay.
always weave in like
Oh,
Vietnamese culture. So Ali
oh, I
Wong,
didn't know
there you go.
that.
I guess I just
Oh,
overlook it. I mean, she just I was talking like vagina jokes and everything, so that probably I just like took
And
out of
then
that's what
that.
you
And then she
focus
probably
on.
then she starts talking about her heritage, and I'm
she's
like,
half
what?
Chinese, half Vietnamese, but she does,
Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah, she
think I have
does
heard
weave in
that.
some
because
Vietnamese
her last name is
culture.
Wong, so I wouldn't have thought that. That's a
Yeah,
good
half
call.
Vietnamese, half Chinese.
Good
Nice,
call.
nice
Double,
winner.
triple bonus.
There you go.
Winner,
Okay.
winner,
All
chicken
right. So
Okay.
sorry,
dinner.
I
All
interrupted
right,
you.
last questions with your 80s movie trivia. Ke Huy Quan played what character in the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom movie? What was his
Oh,
name?
I know that one. I
Okay,
know.
what
I
is it,
do.
Wayne?
Short round.
Short round. You don't remember your 80s trivia? Did you
Well, yeah.
I
watch those?
barely remember the Indiana Jones
Just
series.
I love
I've
the
watched.
yeah. I love the Raiders, love the Lost Ark, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
classic,
Yeah.
all-time
Like
classic. Cool.
I was
Well,
too
all
Dr.
busy
right.
Jones,
studying.
Dr. Jones.
I was too busy studying to get those
You're
straight
too.
A's to go
That's
into school.
right. That's right.
I
Wayne and
wasn't
I were just
watching
hanging
That's
movies,
around.
true. We
talking
didn't get
about.
into Harvard or UPenn, so I was
That's
watching
Exactly.
right.
and I
There
was
you go.
imitating him, like Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
Good answer. Good
Oh
answer.
man.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. So let's wrap up this podcast, with I'm sure you have like the best life tip we've ever gotten because you have gotten a
Yeah.
pretty good life. So give
Yeah.
us your life tip.
Okay. I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
So one for more of the younger listeners, and then one for the ones who are a little bit more established in their career. So I would say for the younger listeners, my best piece of advice, and especially for the women out there, is don't be afraid to speak up, right? Like, so your voice is your power.
Got
Um,
it.
I coach and talk to way too many women who are scared of like speaking up. When they're in rooms of executives or men, and they feel like their voice, like they don't have anything to say or that their voice will be drowned out. And one of the things that I've just learned, and maybe this was my HBS training, is that like, and with HBS, for those of you who don't know, 50% of your class grade is class participation. And so if you don't speak up, you will fail. And I remember like
Wow.
having anything to say, but of course the Asian, like
Yeah, you got to get
grade
that
A student,
50%.
person kicked
Was that
in,
really
like, I am not going to fail this course.
was it
So
really hard for
even when
you?
I have
Because
nothing to say, I'm going to
yeah.
figure out like how to read myself in and say something. And that has always stayed with me, even like early days of tech, even when I was finally an executive and being in a room full of all men, even in boardrooms when for sure it's all men. And that has always served me well. And then my second tip, I think for folks who are a little bit later in their careers, is start building your professional network. Because I do think that good things happen when you build your network, and people will open up doors and help you, and you'll go farther faster when you surround yourself with people who are invested in your success and want to help out. But it starts by paying attention to it. So often as Asians, right, we're so focused on the work and just being heads down and doing a good
Mhm.
job that we forget to build like relationships
Yeah,
outside of
I love that tip. The networking one. I think though that the shy introvert side of me though makes that harder because my natural inclination is not to keep reaching out to people that I,
yeah
know
yeah
just from a professional, but I think that that is the best
yeah.
advice, like you said.
I would say
Because
that it's a muscle that you build. And then also, as we talked about, even though you guys might not believe me, I am an introvert. And
right.
I actually find that building network connections one-on-one is a lot easier. Like, so I don't want to go to parties. Like, I actually have zero interest in going to parties. And I
Yeah.
don't even really love to go to like bigger dinners, but it's like if, one-on-one coffees, small group dinners, like with 3 or 4 people, like I think those are great ways to build your relationships and your network, and you can go deeper rather than
Yeah.
like with surface level and broad.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah,
No, that's
I
a
was going to
great
say,
tip.
as an introvert, if you have any hints on how to do that networking thing, I guess one of them is to set up a sort of a smaller event, a
Smaller,
private
but yeah.
two
yeah,
to three
yeah,
people.
yeah,
That
yeah,
helps.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. And
you'll see in my LinkedIn profile, I call myself a community builder. So I am organizing events and dinners, and I'm trying to bring people together. And I'll give you this tip. It is much easier to, um, to build network connections when you're the one who's hosting. Because like
oh,
if you're attending somebody else's event, right? And I hate this. You'll go in, you don't know anybody in the room, you have
Yeah.
no idea how to break into the
true.
conversation, and
Very
all you want to do
uncomfortable.
is just like hide in a corner and like maybe go to the bar and pretend that like nobody realizes that you are a loser. Um,
Right, right. You're
but
just like
when
holding a
you're
drink,
hosting,
but you just kind of keep sipping it to
exactly,
look like you're
exactly.
doing something.
But
Yep,
when
that's
you're
been me.
hosting, right, people will come to
Yeah.
you because you're
Yeah.
the
They
Oh,
host.
say
because you're the
thanks.
host.
Yeah. So people, even though you don't remember or know necessarily who they are, like you can fake it. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah. And you're the
you're the
host.
host. So that
I
is
love it.
the trick to community building is,
As an
you
introvert.
decide who to surround yourself with. Like invite them to
Nice.
your event or party. And, maybe in the beginning, you might get 9 out of 10 no's. Over time, it will be 9 out of 10 yeses, and you're going to be the party or
The
the
cool person,
that
right?
everybody
Instead of
wants to go
just,
to,
yeah.
right?
Otherwise, I just
You're
hang
gonna
out by
be
the
like,
food table and try to look like
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not an
Yeah.
idiot.
So
Yeah.
Nice. The tip within the tip of the double tips. Awesome.
yeah,
That's some
Meta
pretty good life
yeah,
tip. And
yeah.
well, Ham, it was such a pleasure to talk to you. You've done such great things for me, like especially coming from where you came from. The Vietnam thing, and then this really small town in Pennsylvania and all that stuff, and then all the success you've had. So congratulations for everything you've done. Really appreciate your time on the show. It's great to chat with you.
So
Yeah.
fun.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tom.
let's stay in touch. Send me a
Yeah.
LinkedIn connect, and then I'll invite you to one of my events.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we got
right.
in.
And then, but we got to reverse it, and we have to invite you to our thing
Please, I
because
would love
if you
to.
invite us to
Let's do it.
yours, then we're going to be the losers, and we won't know anybody, and we'll just be like, "Hey, Hansel, who do
I'll
we
come.
talk
I'll
to?"
come. If you send me an invite,
You'll
I'll
come
come.
up and say hi to us and make us at least popular. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
All
thanks so
right. So
much.
nice to connect, guys.
We are sponsored by none other than the Coder School, a company that teaches kids how to code with over 70 locations all around the country. So if you're interested in getting your kids to code, head online and check us out. Learn to code, change the world. Thanks for listening.